guys, here are a few questions that I get on day-to-day basis. I did a question few days ago and now I again can't solve it. I think I am dumb because I keep making similar mistakes again and again. How the hell am I supposed to remember syntaxes because I keep forgetting them? How to be sure that I'm thorough with the topic enough so now I can move to another topic. When I start solving questions of one topic, I forget the other topic that I had done earlier. How to build the logical thinking of solving questions. How to identify that a particular question belongs to a particular category. I know all of these questions are normal. Everyone goes through it. I have to. But the interesting thing is that there is no exact one rule that I tell you to follow and you'll be able to solve all of your problems. I can't just go like do this and you're sorted. Because all of us are different. We all have different learning capacities. Our grasping power is different. For example, I have terrible remembering capacity. I keep forgetting syntaxes. Even now, if I have to go give an interview, I will have to go through few syntaxes because I keep forgetting them. Even something that I have covered in my own video, I might forget the syntax because I'm just terrible at it. While there are a few people who once write a syntax, they will remember it for a lifetime. Yes, such people exist. So, what we are going to do in this video is try to understand what works for us. I will share what worked for me, how I understood, okay, that this is what I should do. This is not what I should have done. So I'm going to share what worked for me and you might be able to figure out that, okay, this is something that you should try or this is something that you're doing wrong. So that is the purpose of this video. I hope you find it helpful. But before going ahead, let me tell you about the sponsor of this video. And I'm actually excited to tell you about them because I really like their concept. What happens is that a lot of times because of our degrees or because of our previous marks or because of the prerequisites that are required by the companies, we don't get enough opportunities, right? This is a problem that a lot of people face. So their concept is that you take an online free test and you get a score and you get calls from companies based on that. I am talking about Relevel by Unacademy. They have over 50 plus companies, including some top startups like Cred, Urban Company, Razorpay, etc. All you have to do is sit at home, take a test, get a score. And if you don't do well in that test, you can retake it after 30 days. But based on that score, you can get opportunities in so many companies, just pure on the basis of talent. Do check it out. The link is in the description. Who knows, this might be the opportunity you are waiting for. Let's start with the simplest problem. We keep forgetting syntaxes, right? I know the obvious solution to this must be that just practice every day and you will be in touch with it and you will remember the syntaxes. But trust me, I understand that it's not possible to be in touch with 𝐷𝐴LGO every day, especially when you're working. It does humanly happen that you don't solve any questions for a while and now you are appearing for interview or now you're discussing a question and the syntax just doesn't hit you. And it is normal for that to happen. Or you could be just, concentrating on learning something else like web app development or something else, some sort of development, and you might not be in touch with 𝐷𝐴LGO. You are not God, you're not supposed to remember all of these syntaxes, okay? So what has worked for me is that I have separate notes just for syntaxes. And it is not big, it's just 2 pages, literally 2 pages. It has the syntaxes that I keep forgetting again and again, that come in only few questions and not in all the questions. Like I will remember syntaxes of vectors, sets, because those are the most common ones and I use them. Like I have used them so many times that I don't forget them. But syntaxes like next permutation, previous permutation, or even confusing syntaxes like lower bound, upper bound. So if you have seen the video with 𝐔𝐬𝐴𝐐𝐸, I actually try to confuse him with the syntax of lower bound, upper bound, which does what? Because even I can get confused with it. So he is a pro at coding, but still he missed it. I know this seems like a very small thing, but if you're not in a face-to-face interview and you actually have to solve the code and you're not able to remember the syntax, you can get really messed up. So it's better to have some tough syntaxes or the ones that you keep forgetting again and again. Write it somewhere in like 1 or 2 pages so that right before the interview or right before your test, you can go through them. My second type of notes is sort of a mental checklist of the things that I keep missing, the mistakes that I keep repeating. For example, in the starting, I used to miss a lot of edge cases that, okay, array is empty or it is sorted, I can improve it in somehow. So I had a checklist of the edge cases that I keep missing, of the things that I should think of. Okay, I've actually interestingly also made a YouTube short covering my mental checklist of the edge cases that I think of. And similarly, not just the edge cases, I also had somewhere written that, these are the categories that the question can belong to. And it actually helped me. So there are only fixed, limited number of categories that can be there in the questions. And that's actually a very good thing. Okay. So for example, I have written there in my notes that, okay, if you can form a search space, if you can divide your array into half or something, think of binary search. Okay. And you might think that this is such a trivial thing. Why do you even add it to the notes? But along with binary search, what I've written is I can think of two-pointer technique, window sliding technique, okay? So I have all the techniques written somewhere. So even though, like when you see a question, you might not be able to, immediately understand that, okay, this belongs over here. You can go through that mental checklist one by one. Can I solve this question using this? Can I solve this question using this? If it is still not optimized enough, or suppose your interviewer is looking for even better optimization, think of the mental checklist once that, okay, have I considered all the techniques? Have I considered making a tree out of it? Have I considered, converting it into a graph, to use BFS, to use DFS? What are the different graph algorithms that I know? What are the different tree traversals that I know? Okay, just the checklist of the categories sometimes can help you that, okay, I've considered all of these options. Since these are not working, maybe there will be something out of your checklist only, because again, there is just fixed number of categories that your question can belong to. It is not something that, interviewer or your test will have something out of the blue. You are not supposed to do any research over there. There are fixed number of things. Another thing is how to handle the pressure of interview, because one particular interview deciding your entire career is sort of not exactly justice, okay? But sadly, like we go through it, our entire career since childhood, we face exams, we face IIT. So what I did was I sat and I thought about what are the wrong things and right things that I did during my IIT phase, or during, when I gave exams in colleges and all. So I know that I take a lot of tension. So I need to sit like 5-10 minutes before the interview. I do nothing but just sit and think about nothing. Okay, think about nothing. Worst to worst, I'll go through my notes, just see the syntaxes and tell myself that I have prepared enough. Now I just want to give my best and nothing else. Okay. Similarly, just analyze what you used to do wrong or right during the phase when you used to face, tough exams or interviews that defined you. Like if you applied for IIT or your college exams or GATE or anything during which you were really stressed. So think about it. What did you do at that time? How did you handle the pressure? Or think of it like this. If, a 12th standard kid is coming to you right now and asking you for help, how do I handle pressure of an interview? What is the advice that you would give him or her? Give the same advice to yourself and it will work for you. Again, all of us are super different. The way we handle the pressure of interviews is different for all of us. What might work for me might not work for you. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to analyze your past and figure out your core characteristics and how to handle them properly. How to, take them to your advantage. If you think you need to work on your communication skills, focus on that, because sometimes you might be great in tech skills but not so good in communication. So invest more time in communication, take more mock interviews. Okay, I've seen people comparing that, my friend has taken so many mock interviews, I have not taken any mock interviews. Do you need it? How much do you say your friend needed? How much do you need it? Because these are two different people, right? What is the purpose of taking mock interviews? If you think mock interviews will help you feel more confident, or they will, help you with communication skills, good enough. Otherwise, watching mock interviews like on my channel or on someone else's channel can be good enough to, help you and give you an idea of how interviews work. If you think you can do it in a similar way, then it's good enough to watch videos and understand, right? It would be better to work on your tech skills instead. So the point is that you have to analyze yourself, that what are you good at, what are you bad at, and, you should invest your time in improving what skill. Coming to the biggest problem of all, that we solved a question and now we are not able to solve it again. Okay, there can be multiple reasons to this. One can be that we understood the concept at that time, but now in this much duration of time, we have gone through so many concepts that we have gotten a bit confused or we forgot that. Okay, the point is, when you understand a concept, okay, Firstly, how my mental checklist works. So I write it down. Okay, this is a new concept that I've learned. But just writing it down might not sometimes be sufficient. What we also have to make sure is that, at the time when we are learning a new concept, we do enough number of questions to, know that if I get a question of this topic or of similar category, at least I'm able to do it. Like if you solve one question of sliding window technique, okay, try to do at least a few more questions until you're confident that, okay, next time I should at least remember if I have sliding window technique, in mind, that, okay, I should be able to identify that, okay, this is a sliding window technique. Do enough number of questions, but don't just presume that the next time I do it, I will be able to remember it, because you're not God. We all are humans. We all make mistakes. So what I do is, I don't just become overconfident after going through a topic once. I don't go like, okay, I've done this topic. I always go back after a few days or after a few hours to, see whether I remember that topic. And actually, I sort of have a, while sleeping, especially during the interview preparation phase or while I'm studying a lot, what I do is, at night before sleeping, I think of all the topics that I went through or all of the questions that I went through. What was that one new thing that I learned in this particular question? Okay. So if you start focusing on concepts rather than the number of questions that you have done, when you stop studying, what is it that you think of? That, okay, I did so many number of questions, or you think of, I learned these many new concepts, or this is what I was missing. Next time I see this concept, I should not be able to miss this. There's a difference in that. That is why just don't go behind the number of questions that you're doing. Think about, I missed this concept this time. If I write it down, if I add it to my mental checklist, will I remember it the next time? That will I be able to identify that, okay, this question belongs to this category? If not, then at that time itself, do enough number of questions on that topic. Another thing I would like to add over here is that most of the people, what we do, it is human tendency that we do one topic, and when we move to the other topic, we just forget the previous topic completely. We assume that, okay, that's a tick mark, now that's going to go in trash, okay? But don't do that. Once in a while, go back, keep revising what sort of questions you did. Do one or two questions to, be thorough with it. It's like you go to trees and you forget linked lists or string questions completely. Don't do that. Don't do like, if I'm doing DP, I'm not going to, worry about trees or graphs at all. Or maybe do a few questions which involve multiple concepts like DP and trees, or strings and trees, or something like that. Always go back to the concepts that you think you have already done once in a while. Like, obviously you can't keep doing all the questions again and again. You can't keep revising all of that again and again. Okay, so like you yesterday did a topic, after 2 or 3 days, I'm just going to go back and revise quickly what are the questions I did, what was it that I missed in this. Okay, I did these topics, I did these were based on this category, I should remember it. Or I'll do a tougher question today and I'll try it out. Okay, and I keep saying it again and again, don't do just easy level questions or just medium level questions or just hard level questions. Maintain a balance. If you're doing easy level questions, try once in a while to do medium level. If you're doing only medium level, try once in a while to do hard questions. Don't spend your entire day doing just one hard question, especially right before the interviews. Two to three, medium questions. I think a common point that you will see everywhere is maintaining a balance. Okay, and also some people ask me, how much theory should we do, how much time we should spend in doing questions. Again, it's about balance. You can't just keep going on through the theory and ignore the questions. You can't just keep on doing questions and ignore the theory, because while solving questions, anyone can ask you any theory during the interview. So you have to maintain a balance. If you are going through a new data structure, just solving questions might not be enough. It is good to go through the theory, check the complexities, how, especially if you're going through concepts like STL and C++, suppose you pick up vector, you do a few questions on vector, you're like, I know this now. But in the interview, someone will ask you, how does a vector internally work? Like, how is it implemented? You would not know, because you should know some theory of it, okay? That is why balance is important everywhere, in all the aspects of this. You have to maintain balance of theory, practical, of easy, medium, hard questions, of how much you remember syntaxes, of how much time you spend in each category. I know it sounds very complex, but it really is not. You just have to analyze of what you did yesterday. How can I improve it today more? If you think you are able to solve questions but you lack in theory, go towards a bit more of theory. If you think you have done enough theory, take 2-3 days just to do, solve questions. And same thing applies to those who are applying for jobs. I have seen what people do is they will keep applying for jobs, but they think that, okay, you know what, I'll start the preparation once I get an interview call. What might happen is that you might get a call for a walk-in and you're not prepared for it at all. Okay. Or what some people do is they keep up, preparing, but they don't apply. And what might happen is that you might apply for a company which has a very lengthy and long process. And it might get very frustrating that I applied so long back and they are taking so much time to revert back on your feedback of the interview for the next round. Okay. So some companies might take very fast to get back to you and some companies might take very long time. And it might actually depend on the, what sort of hiring is going on. In Intuit itself, sometimes walk-ins happen and sometimes there is a long process that happens. So make sure you maintain a balance so that you don't get frustrated. When you're looking for a switch, make sure you maintain the balance of applying to the companies, going through, other things like updating your resume and making sure you have a good connection. Don't spend all your time on LinkedIn, but make sure you spend just enough time to, contact people for referrals and all of that. Keep some amount of time, maybe 10-15 minutes, half an hour a day for that. But the rest of the day should go for preparation and how to, become better at cracking the interviews. Coming to the two final points that has really, really helped me personally. One is having a study partner. Okay. So every time we apply for a test or for an interview or for any sort of competition, it's such a huge help when we have a friend who is going through exactly the same thing. Okay. You can discuss the questions when you're tired of solving questions or just when you're feeling demotivated. You can motivate each other. You can, discuss, I did this mistake. What mistake did you did? Things like that. And it can always motivate you. And sometimes you motivate him or her and sometimes you get the, same way. So the point is that for me personally, friends are a huge help. Second thing that has really helped me is teaching. So what me and my friends have usually done is that, I go through a topic and I teach him or her, and similarly they do the same. Trust me, when you teach a particular topic, you know it just in another sense of way. And to be honest, one of the reasons why I started a YouTube channel is because of this. Because when I make a video, I know in and out of the topic. I do so much research for that particular topic. All the doubts that another person could be having while going through the question or going through the concept, I replay it in my head that, okay, if this doubt comes, what should be my answer? If this doubt comes, what should be my answer? So teaching has actually taught me a lot. The research that I have done while teaching has helped me grow so much. So if you think you're forgetting concepts or, even after cracking a company, if you just want to be in touch with your concepts, the best thing is to now start giving back to the community by teaching other people, by teaching students, by guiding them, or by as simple thing as clearing others' doubts. While clearing others' doubts also, you sort of revise the concepts, you think of the concepts, you go through your notes that, okay, I missed this, why did I miss this? Something like that, okay? Last thing I would like to mention is that, be sure that the strategy or the resources that you're following is good enough or is working for you. Okay, I've seen people who just follow LeetCode because everyone is following it, or just Codeforces because everyone else is doing it. Not every software engineer has a good ranking on Codeforces. Even good software engineers might have never used Codeforces or LeetCode or Geeks for Geeks. So every person is again very different. So see which platform are you liking and go through it. Okay. There are a lot of courses nowadays available. There are free courses, there are paid courses, and in every course that you find, okay, there will be a few people who would give you excellent reviews of that particular course. And in the same class, in the same batch, there might be a few people who might give you absolutely crap reviews of the same course. Because again, people are different, right? Their studying patterns and everything is so different. So try to see what is working for you. If you take a particular course, is it worth it? If I pay for it, is it worth it? Okay, just go through it. If I say this worked for me, okay, this was my foolproof method, it might not be foolproof for you. Okay, And similarly, not just for resources, just for platforms, for everything that you're using, sometimes we think we are thorough with a particular topic because we completed them from one particular resource. It might happen that the resource didn't even touch a lot of areas of that particular topic. So make sure, if you have time to explore different courses, different topics, what is present where. I know there are a lot of checklists that are available online, or strategies that do this, do that, cheat sheets. But in the end, don't blindly trust just one person, is what I'm saying. Because for example, if I am making a cheat sheet, okay, I might not mention the very trivial things that I found, but maybe those things were very trivial for me and might not be extremely trivial for you. Okay, it is great to follow online content, free and paid, it is always helpful, but don't get misguided and don't blindly follow one particular content. Always be sure to explore different things, because nowadays there is a lot of content available, and that's sort of helpful. It's not to confuse you more. There is no harm in going through different content again and again. It's sort of a revision, or what you could do is that you learn from one particular platform and you use the second platform to practice or to revise or something like that. Okay, so do what you like doing or what is helpful to you. I hope I have not confused you more, because I really wanted to put it out that don't follow one person blindly. uh, all of us are very unique, and embrace that is what I wanted to convey from this video. Don't spend your time just strategizing and thinking and not implementing, because if you see any YouTube video, what is the question that I was asked in the XYZ interview experience or strategy, will get much more number of views than any tutorial or any really helpful teaching video. Why is that? Because most of us just want to sit and watch videos which can give us shortcuts, but very less number of people really want to go through the hard work of solving questions. So it is not going to help you. Just going through the other interview experience is not going to help you. If I have covered a question online, almost everyone has seen it. There are very less chances that that same question will come. Similar topic might come, and that is why you need to practice questions of that topic. Like when you watch mock interviews or when you hear interview experiences, don't just think of that particular question. Think of the topic that that question was based on the concept. Again, I'm going back to the same point. I hope you found the video helpful, and please do like, share and subscribe if you found it helpful. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you.